Okay guys, today's task is bending a 70 millimeter by 70 millimeter angle iron, 6 millimeter thick and 70 wide. Okay, that is now the task. Okay, if you look here, that is the angle 70, 70, 6 mil thick. This view in particular is your top view. Now that tells you that it's 70 millimeter long, all right? If you look at these dotted lines in the engineering practice is called a hidden detail. That means if this is the top view, you're looking from the top. So if you're looking from the top, that point there, which is this, is actually the line that you cannot see. Hence, it's in dotted lines. All right. Let's move on to the next step. Okay, that's your next step. All right, now we're going to determine your cut size for the bending. All right. If you look here, when you calculate your bending size, you're actually going to work on the inside. So you're going to take away the thickness. So 70 minus that 6 mil, in this case from here, 70 minus 6, you're going to get 64. And the same from this side. So it's going to be 70 millimeter, take away the 6, so you're left with 64. Okay? So that is what your plate will look like once you cut it. And you got to actually draw that line. That line now is your bend line. Okay? So that's what your plate's going to look like. Okay? The next step, you cut out your steel. Okay? So this is now your cut length. That's 128 because you got 64, 64. Now that's 70 wide. So I have with me, here's my piece. Okay? That's my piece. All right? You can see there. That's roughly 70 wide and 128 millimeter. Okay. So let's move on to the next task. Okay, so that's the next task. So if you got a piece of steel, right? There's a piece of steel here, right? You want to bend that now, okay? You can't just take a 6 millimeter plate and bend it on any particular V-block. You got to actually determine the correct V-block. So to get that, what you need to do, if this is your V-block, that's 48. So to get that, it's always thickness times 8. And in this case, we're bending a 6 millimeter plate, and we're going to take that multiplied by 8. So that will be 48 millimeters. So that will be your correct V-block. Now, just remember, some manufacturers or some companies with press brakes might not have the exact size V-block. It might be something close or something smaller, but not too small. Okay, I'm going to show you what we have right here, okay? This is our press brake. If you look at our press brake, we're looking at roughly 46. Okay? So 46 would do, okay? The reason why you got to determine your correct V-block is because if you look at some industries, like the trucking industries, where they build and fabricate truck chassis require a desired radius. So if you're bending a piece of steel, for example, in this case here, that's what's important. So by determining the correct V-block, we will achieve the correct radius here. Okay? So radiuses are very important. All right? Another thing you guys need to take note of. If you are bending plates 10 millimeter thick and over, then this 8 millimeter won't apply. So if it's 10 millimeter and over, you're going to use thickness times 10. Okay? Here's an example here. 10 millimeter times 10 will be 100 millimeter. So your V block, which is this one here, for a 10 mil plate will be 100 wide. Okay, Okay, let's move on to the next step, which is step 4. Bend the plate and check the squareness. Check your outside sizes, so that if you look at our first drawing in the beginning, after bending we need to get 70 millimeter by 70 millimeter. Just remember, in most cases, or sometimes they might ask, a tolerance of about a millimeter. That's what you need. Okay, so let's get on to the bending. Alright, next step is bending. Alright, there's a piece of steel. Okay, it's 128 by 70 wide, and that bend line there, as I showed you in the first page, is now 64. Okay, so that's a bend line. So let's put the machine on. Okay, make sure that V hits that line dead center. The reason for that, you're going to keep this nice and square. Okay, now I'm going to go a bit slower. You can see it's on the line. Okay, let's just bend that. Okay. Okay, people, there's that drawing. This is what we're going to achieve. Okay, there's a chair after bending from the top. So we achieved the bending. So now we need to determine that our sizes were accurate. Okay, let's just put the tape in here and measure it. So we said our outside is going to be 70, okay? And I said a tolerance of plus minus a millimeter, okay? In most cases. All right? So there's our tape. Stick a tape in here. You see? Pretty accurate, so no need for that 1 millimeter tolerance. We're almost there. Okay. Okay, now this is the other side. You can see almost perfect, so no need for that tolerance. So that is what we got. Okay, and of course it is 70 millimeter wide. Okay, so that's the bending part done. Okay, just to recap. Okay, there's our piece after bending. That is what the task was all about. Okay, there you can see on our first task. Okay, determine your cut size for bending. Okay, that is what we needed. We needed 70 outside, 70 on that side there, and of course 70 millimeter high. All right, or long. Okay, so that's it for this task. Just remember, I will upload pictures step by step so you can go through it very carefully if you didn't understand. Okay, so just watch me for my next video. Thank you.